Okay, so I want to go over the progress of this distraction-free phone, or smart-ish phone is what I'm kind of calling it. I've talked about, I've used PDAs back in the day, not this one particularly, but stuff like this. And I've been on the hunt for like a smart-ish phone. I miss the days of like the old school Blackberries, the old school Palm Pilots that were much more focused on productivity as opposed to entertainment. They had some, but really it was like if you look at the old school Blackberries, like the most distracting stuff on that would be like Brick Breaker, right? Which was like a very like simple game, or like Snake or something like that. So I've tried as many of these options as I could, and I just wasn't happy with what's available. I think that there's some cool products out there, but they're just not cutting it for me. And so I went ahead and just started making my own operating system. So that's what I've done, and that's what I have here, and it's working. I have it on a network. I've been testing it. I've been testing applications. I've been building my own applications for it, and it's coming along really, really well. So I just want to do an update on this. Basically, there are a few things left. So I wanted to make a list of what is left. So one thing is, I've said that it will not have a typical app store, okay? And that is true. But it will have, you can't, I think this app store is typically like officially like an Apple name, like Play Store is Google Play Store's name. So we can call this like, I don't know. It's, I'll just do this. Um, there will be a type of an app where you can use to download and update apps. And the reason that this is important is because, and before you like turn like say like hypocrite, it's not going to be a typical app store. It's not going to have a ton of applications. We're talking about very, very, very limited, curated, distraction free apps. Okay? Very limited. But what's nice about this is that, and the reason that this sort of store is important is because we need something to be able to update existing apps. Okay? So the thing that I need to do is basically build a custom app store, and there's basically it's like hosting this list of apps. Some of these apps are apps that I've made. Some of them are open source apps. A lot of this relies on open source. You could call this what I have here. I think the initial concept would be like an unofficial Lineage OS build, and it would be the minimalist, if I can spell, tech edition. Now I don't need to stick with this project. I can go to with the raw AOSP Android open source project, but I would like to stick with this. Just like my only like basically thought about it is like how I'm treated by that community. If like they embrace this and are happy for me building this and leveraging that, then great. And if they're not nice to me, then I can try something else, I guess. I don't know. It's a weird world when you get into like super, 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 super highly technical, nerdy stuff, like building custom builds of operating systems. Like, and it's not going to be like one person here makes a difference. Obviously, like you want something that's technically solid, that's safe, that's reliable, and all these kind of things. So, it's not just that. My point is, I'd like to stick with this as the base operating system, um, or a custom build of this, which is what I have and which is what's on here. And you can see there, like this is a custom build. I need to just sign these keys, but I'm still tinkering, so I haven't done that part yet. So actually, we can do this. So step one is this. Step two is I just need to sign the build, which is nothing. It's a quick process. Um, three. So I've gone through one test with over the air updates. I don't know what you call it. It's actually OTA. Oh, over the air updates. And I haven't had any issues. So I think this is set, but I just need to sort of verify that this is in fact correct. And then basically I just need to rebuild this the build that I have here. I need to rebuild it with this. Oh, there's one other thing I need to do. So I need a custom file explorer. The reason for this is in order to keep this distraction free, we don't want to have any like side loading of applications because that's going to make it distracting. And it'll just be a typical Android phone basically. So, but there is a use for File Explorer on this device. For example, you might want to open up like I think it's an ICS file, which is a contacts file. Sometimes it's a CSV file. There's also things like audiobooks that are in an MB4 format. I believe that is. And there's some just sort of generally like exporting and importing of things like text files, or I should say TXT files, and a few others, so that applications that need to access the File Explorer to either import or export various file types, like some of this is like backing up and restoring data. So there's these file types, but there's a few others, and so we need to have a file explorer that will allow just these file formats to be open and nothing else. And then basically the last thing, so I figured out the boot animation and how I'm going to handle the boot animation. It's going to be very straightforward and simple. Well, it's going to take me a bit, but it's not a big deal. And then I need to just rebuild. And once all this is done, it means that it'll be very minimal, but you'll also have some apps that, like, this will grow over time to encompass more applications that are still distraction free. So there's some applications that I'm building, for example, like managing your Blu-ray collection, different password things. Like over time, apps that are on this right now can get removed or replaced with these, but I can do it through this app store. So that way, like, you can just always have like up-to-date versions of the apps, and the app catalog will increase, but it's like very like strict in terms of like this every app gets evaluated like very strongly about like not having an open web browser, not having the same issues that the other apps have. And that's basically it. Then I need to just, I guess, build. I need to just put this website up. And then I'm going to start selling these. And this particular phone is a Google Pixel 8, which is just very well built. It's like a more modern phone, like it's gonna have updates for a while. It's well supported, and that's one of the reasons I chose it. Until I can create custom hardware on my own, it's it's reasonable. Um, so this is sell, and then I think basically what my plan is to start selling these at um, retail price. So the first few, several customers, test customers, can get this. This phone is selling for $699, and so that's like what I'll be selling it on. Like I'm not adding on to the price of it to try to keep the cost low. I could use a different phone. I could use like an older Pixel, for example, that could get this price down. So part of what I'm looking to hear from is like, if you're interested in this, you know, is this an acceptable price range? If I was to add on a fee for for sort of my customization, it would be somewhere around like a 125, let's say, something like that. So this would be more like what would that be? So this is like 7, so this would be like 8, you know. Let's just call it 849. I mean, this is getting like, a lot of people are going to look at this and go like, wow, that's really expensive. So, but other people are going to be like, well, I pay a lot more for phones, so who cares? But this is not about making a ton of money, but it's like up front. This is just about like getting the product out there that I wish that existed. I wish that there was this easy to use distraction free phone. And so, anyways, so I could use other devices to get this price down. So potentially, this could end up being more like $399 if I was to use different hardware or somewhere in the middle, because there are other hardware options. Like this doesn't have to be on a Pixel device. So I'm looking into things like the Fairphone. And there's another one. There's a few others that I'm not going to just mention here, but so I'm just cross it out. Uh, but the point is like, because this is real and it's working, I will have this for myself. Like I'm super happy because I can finally have what I want, right? And I can make it even better over time. Like I find like this to me is like the answer that I've been looking for. Question is like, are there enough people out there who are also interested in this? And what's the price point? Because again, like my ultimate goal with this is to have something that's more like, what was best. People don't necessarily know what I mean by this, but Palm Pilots were basically like distraction-free devices. They were just built for. We have packaging here, so we can look at this stuff. So it would be like, what are they? Date book, address book, notepad, and more. Right? I mean, actually, like that's the most of what they were selling with this, right? Um, your date book, your address book, your notepad. So already this has way more features, and it's way easier to use than a product like this that existed. I don't know what year this came out. This is talking about Windows XP, so this is around the year 2000. And even a newer version of this, which is like this one, or this was like one of the later Palm phones where it started to look more like your typical touchscreen phone. And whatever, I go over the stuff like, there's been plenty of phones over the years, but like this is the only one that is distraction free in the ways that I think it should be, and I can start building productivity apps. So like, 9 plus is like basically like updates and improvements. Like this is just really really exciting space. And then it's also like other devices, like I talked about, like having the TV OS and a tablet OS, etc., etc., and other things. So I don't know. This is getting really exciting, and I just wanted to give an update in case people were wondering what the heck is going on with this. Um, it's working. It exists. Uh, like, I, I guess like I don't know what to do next necessarily. Like, obviously, I'm gonna finish this stuff and put the website up. If I can figure this out, I guess the other part, maybe like the 9 part, would be like either people are gonna just want this and I can sell them directly via my website, or if I should try some sort of like Kickstarter, you know, thing. Usually this is like some like highly produced video, you know, about how great life is with a distraction-free phone, which is very much does change your life, in my opinion, in my experience. So I guess that's it for now. Oh, I also have a email address, which is minimalist tech at mail.com, in case you want to email me. Like if you're this is based on like the open source version of Android, so if you are an Android developer and then you're like someone who's like, oh, this is a piece of cake for me, um, you know definitely message me. Or if you uh, you want to help with this here, or if you want to help with this here, um, you know I'm open to that. So otherwise, like I'm just gonna continue like chugging along and making this thing a reality. So yeah, thumbs up.